Bettencourt, and then to be followed by Mr. Bruce Hudson.
Mayor Pro Tem and City Council members, thank you for your time. I came here today to update you on the status of the city's lawsuit on Proposition 1 and water rates in general. Unfortunately, we had to travel to Austin because the current administration decided to file this ex parte motion in the state capitol as opposed to our own courthouse. And what the city was asking for was effectively a blessing on this unbelievably large water rate increase, and also the fact that the Proposition 1, which was passed in 2004 by 64% of the public, wasn't to be effectively invalidated. Myself and Bruce Hotze intervened, and we brought in a expert witness and testified to the following facts. We believe that the city's water rate study done by Red Oak is fatally flawed. Specifically, in the study, they went from 2009 operations and maintenance expense from certified accounting statements of $371,000 and $771,000 of actual operations and maintenance expense. In the study, Red Oak decided to use $415,575,000, which is a 12% increase. During the testimony yesterday, at no time did the two city officials over the water area attempt to refute that fact, nor was any discussion of it after we made that presentation. In fact, the city did move for a directed summary judgment about halfway through the process. The judge did not grant it and took it under advisement because this is the city's suit against itself, for layman's terms. We had to go intervene to make the taxpayer's case. The Red Oak study also had a variety of other faults, which we can talk about at more time, but I want to make sure that the City Council knows that the study overstated O&M expenses by $44 million. There's no fact or supposition of fact that O&M expenses would go up 12% in the middle of a recession. That's a real problem. Okay, especially when the city's own director of the department is talking about lowered chemical cost and lower overall labor cost in the same testimony. So if you put a 12% pad into a study, you're going to have a very high water rate as a result. Now, another thing that we talked about, the water rate increase on residences is approximately 18%, because testimony from your officials yesterday said that the overall increase would be 40% after 3 years. You've got this initial increase, you've got another increase of 6% in 2011, you've got another increase of 5.6% in 2012, and another increase of 5.3%.
Thank you. Your time
that adds up to 40%.
Thank you.
Motion accepted.
Thank you very much. Mr. Bettencourt, we have a motion to extend the time of the speaker. A motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. All opposed, no. Motion carries. Your time is extended for 5 minutes, Mr. Bettencourt.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I appreciate the graciousness of the council. So what you have is a water rate increase that is 40% over 3 years. Now, for apartments, it's even worse. Okay, it's 24% immediately, which means in the middle of a recession, that water rate hits everyone that is in an apartment complex at 24%. Now, I know Councilmember Wong is very concerned about this because in a recession, we've already seen occupancy levels in Harris County go down last year from 85.9% to 84.2%. People have nowhere else to go in a recession because they can't make their payments anyway. So it's also bad public policy for them not to have a stair step on their increases. The bottom line is that neither of the increases on residential apartments needed to be that high because the study overstated the O&M expenses in the base year, which is 2010. I strongly suggest that you guys go to, the City Council takes another look at the study, because you can redo your study, especially since I hear there's another motion coming through on apartments, reevaluate the exact amount of O&M cost. And what Prop 1 said was that if you want to get above inflation and population, go to a vote of the public, okay? Because you can still put that on the ballot by August the 24th. So I'm here to say, as a former tax assessor, I know what Proposition 1 said. We talked about it in city council meetings for years. It said you can't raise water rates higher than inflation and population, and there was clearly exemptions for bond indebtedness. This increase is well above it. You can fix it, and you can lower the rates and put the remainder to the public for public vote. I think that's what the proposition was all about. And I urge you all to do this, because it shouldn't be the first major vote of a city council and administration to make taxpayers go to the state capitol to bring in witnesses to look at a study that was rushed through without enough time at city council table and have a vote that way. This is a huge increase. It should have been done properly. And the fact that we had to go to Austin is unbelievably disappointing to me, to fight for the taxpayers. But that's what we had to do yesterday, and I want to make sure you know these facts. We have other things that Mr. Hotze will talk about, but I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bettencourt. Chair recognizes Councilmember Wong.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Bettencourt, so in short, you are saying that the votes that we wrote earlier was in violation of Proposition 1 and Proposition 2. And
Proposition 1.
Proposition 1. So what is the violation? That's the first question. The second question is this. If you think it is a violation, what is the amount that we should raise the water rate? The third is, should we put this into the ballot referendum for the next election?
Yes, let me answer all three questions. The study that was done overstated operations and maintenance expenses, raised it from the known financial actuals of 2009 to some estimated version of 2010 by 12%, which is over $44 million. There's no factor supposition in the fact that that's below what was budgeted, above what's budgeted. It's not real, okay? The number is a plug, okay? And that number needs to be reduced to reality. You need to raise rates, where you think you need to be in accordance with Prop 1, which is cover your bond and indebtedness and inflation and population. And what you need to do is take any of that extra rate increase and take it to the public for a vote, because that's the contract that you made with the voters in 2004. Mayor White was very specific about it, okay? And actually, we introduced evidence that Mayor Parker at the time wrote to her staff, because we have the emails, about how she was worried that this would restrict future tax increases in the water rate area specifically, or the property tax area, when the city needed to raise it. Well, I'm sorry. That's what the proposition was supposed to do, was raise rates gradually over time, as opposed to raising them in what is an unbelievably high increase in 1 year. So, Representative Wong, I'm glad to hear you're trying to do something about the apartment people, because they're, your district is lots of recent immigrants, and if you raise rates in a recession on hard-pressed apartment residences and owners, they have nowhere to go.
That's why I fought for the $15 million rebates from the multifamily. But the question is this: if we said that if we are going to put it in the referendum for the next election, will it violate the charter or?
In my opinion,
yes.
The rate increase violated Proposition 1. That is why Bruce Hotze and I intervened in the city suit against itself in Austin, because we wanted to prove that rate increase was too high. We believe we did. The city asked for a summary motion, in the middle of the trial. It was not granted by the judge after we presented half of our evidence. So what should have happened under Prop 1 is the city gets automatic increases. They also get increases that are based on inflation and population. What they don't get is to take that extra increase to a judge in Travis County and say, please bless my increase, as an out-of-town judge. Now, that increase, Al, can go to, be placed on the ballot on August the 24th by that point in time, and the public can vote on it.
So, to your judgment, the legal department at that time, headed by Mr. Oturo, he said very clearly and promised right in this council chambers that the rate that we raise is within the Proposition 1. So, do you believe that his statement is true and correct, or is not?
I believe the statement is absolutely false. we have emails from your own departmental heads talking about a legal strategy that they didn't want to, they mentioned it as of the week of February the 15th, because they already had the strategy in mind that they were going to go to Austin and sue themselves as far back as February the 15th. It is one of the most disappointing things I've seen, because here we have a city's new administration whose first move out of the box is to say, let's overturn the prior public vote that occurred by the public, that then Mayor White and then council members supported as well. Now, Mayor Parker is being philosophically consistent because she opposed both Prop 1 and Prop 2 in 2004. But for the city legal department to file this in Austin is a travesty. It's a taxpayer travesty that two independent businessmen had to take their money and their time, bring in experts to try to fight this increase. The study you were given has an O&M pad of 12% in it. It shouldn't have been done.
But you also know that a lot of council members here voted for the raise of the water rates just because the legal department already did the research, and they testified right in this council chamber and making sure that the rate we raise is within that proposition. We voted for that.
Okay, Councilmember Wong, I agree. By the way, Councilmember Pennington said he didn't think that his first vote should be voting for something that he knew was going to be litigated, and he stands to be correct.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bettencourt. The city secretary reminds me that that was the bell.